Here I'm going to go over the prenatal workflow tab and how to do a prenatal visit using this page. The idea with this is that you can do your entire prenatal visit without leaving this one page. And this works in the vast majority of cases. And so first you'll want to go to your acute workflow. Go ahead and set it as default, so you can also use the great other workflow pages, and there are other videos on using those pages. But the one we're going to use is the OB prenatal. If you can't find it in here, go ahead and look under the drop-down arrow and find it. There are two pregnancy-related pages. There's the OB prenatal and the OB inpatient. Since we're doing a prenatal visit in this video, I'm going to go over the OB prenatal visit. So the first thing you can see here is you can see the pregnancy overview. You can see a lot of the details here. If you hover over, you can see more details about their gravida and parity. The next thing that you'll see under there is the consolidated problems. From here, I know I'm seeing the patient for this today, so I'm going to go ahead and add that to this visit. And then there are the prenatal visit cards. So from here, I can hover over and review previously documented data for the vital signs, for the weight, for protein, for their cervical exam. If there's any other data, I can review previous visits and what was discussed in the previous visits. We'll come back to this component in a little bit, but right now we're just reviewing the chart before going in the room. From the EDD maintenance screen, you can see the different things on which her EDD was based. If you get new information, say the patient came in and she said, oh no, I looked at my calendar and I had my last menstrual period wrong, then you would modify the EDD, and that'll bring up the EDD box here. But if you get new information, like a new ultrasound, and you want to add that, you would click the plus add here, and then you can put the information in on the ultrasound. If you want, if you do put in new information and then want to use that to calculate your EDD, you would click this box that says use this estimate for EDD calculations. If, say, you're entering a second trimester ultrasound on a patient who already had a first trimester ultrasound, then you would not check that box, but it would be available to review in this component on a separate line. Another new feature for the workflow pages is this prenatal labs and tests. You can see here you can review their prenatal labs. The one that's missing is the HIV, and you'll find that actually in the labs component because of how the lab reports the HIV. If there's a lab that was ordered outside of the range, you'll get this little flag here, and if you click on that, here you can see the previously ordered and when it was ordered, even if it wasn't during that specific week range. So everything's divided by week range. You can see where the number of results that are available for that lab, and it'll actually say what week the labs were performed in. A couple of these, like the ultrasound, you can actually order directly from here. So I just put in the order. You can see it ended up in my file box here, and I can then click on that and sign it if I wanted to order that. The decline function doesn't currently work, unfortunately. as I go and review the chart before going to see the patient, I'm going to look at their home medications. Later, I'm going to do a discharge medication reconciliation from here. And this would just launch into my discharge meds rec component there. I'm going to review any new documents, things that will pull in to the facility defined view here are outside records and lab reports. And so if your clinic is scanning the AFP results as a lab report, you can review them by double-clicking here. You can review office notes by just clicking on it, and you can see them directly within this component, or you can double-click and it will launch into the actual note that can be modified and tagged. If you are a resident and you're going to do a visit note from the visit, you can launch that from this component here. But we're not ready for that. We'll just keep reviewing the chart. I'm going to look at the patient's pregnancy history. You can review further details just by hovering, and just look at their procedure history. There's a lab component as well, and this will pull in labs that aren't typically prenatal labs, but might be frequently ordered on pregnant patients. The HIV does pull into this component. It also pulls in things like fetal fibronectin, 24-hour urine collections, and bile acids. And it will also pull in your point of care urine dips if you're going to do a full dip on the patient for if they have symptoms. Microbiology results are available, diagnostics, I can review their previous ultrasound report, pathology. One thing to know about these components is that they do default to the last 9 months. If you want to see older results, just go ahead and click on the default to get a longer look back. And I can check and make sure the patient doesn't need any vaccinations. If I'm ready to order anything, I can order it from this component here, or the quick orders, whichever you would prefer. If I'm going to put in patient education, I can put it in here. So let's say this patient's been complaining of back pain, so I'll go ahead and add some back pain information for them. The birth plan, you can review what was previously documented. This is a great place to put, if you're coming for the delivery and you want to be called, you can put yourself in as a delivery physician, and you can launch the birth plan by clicking on the plus add, and then you would document that delivery physician there, or any other of their birth plan requests. Anything that was documented in the genetic screening section on their intake will show up here. If the patient had fetal monitoring visits, let's say they had gone to labor and delivery, you can just click on that episode and you can review the monitoring if you'd like. And then the education and counseling, if you want to review what's been discussed with the patient, you can do that there. And the visits will show both previous and future visits. This patient doesn't have any future visits, so that's why there isn't a line for that there. So back to the prenatal visits. One nice feature about this is then once you've done reviewing these and talking to the patient, you can chart directly into these cards. And so you can just go through these boxes and do the charting. And then when you're ready to sign, there's the green checkbox up here on the left-hand side. Unfortunately, in this domain that I'm demonstrating here, I'm going to get an error message, but you won't typically get an error message, and you'll be able to sign your results. Let me just go ahead and refresh here. One other thing that you would notice on these cards is that the person who completed the information in the card will show up under the date as the provider responsible for that visit. And so that way you can easily see who has been seeing the patient, and here you can see who's seen the patient in their previous visits. So this was all of the chart review and documentation for an OB visit. It would be very unlikely that you would need to do anything outside of this page on any particular patient. If you did complete one of the cards and then wanted to modify it, then you would have to go into interactive view in order to do the modification. But that would be the only time you would need to go there. And otherwise, this is the prenatal workflow page. And I'd like to see everybody start using those.